What's up, guys? This is Ifbb Didomenico, your overall national 2017 champion. I'm here with my man Eddie G.
What's going on, guys?
We're about 2 weeks post-contest from nationals, and I wanted to do my next video as a follow-up, kind of wrap up the whole pre-contest prep of the road to nationals and kind of segue into what we're going to be doing next, the upcoming months as I go into my off-season. So overall, everything was obviously a success. The goal was to go pro. We did that. Me and Eddie teamed up about 6 months ago whenever we started this. I always say back then it was a pipe dream, but it was actually, I would pretty much give all credit to Eddie. He's the one that really pushed me to videotape myself and kind of document this prep and make something out of it. And me being the type of guy I was, I'm not one to really put myself out there and do stuff like that. And Eddie, he really got behind me, said, something we need to do. So we did it. It was a success. And now it's on to bigger and better things. So long story short, I'm 30 years old, just turned pro. That was my second national pro qualifier. Last year I did North Americans. I took 5th last year, tied for 5th, technically got 6th. And to go back and tell the whole story, that's what kind of catapulted me into this prep. I mean, it was always my goal to turn pro. Ever since I kind of got serious into bodybuilding, I'd say in my early 20s. And, winning to Pittsburgh, about 2 years ago, 2015, that's whenever the dream first, actually became possible, became a reality for me. And, became like, shit, I'm a somebody, this is possible, we could actually go somewhere with this. And, then after that, I won Junior USAs, and then it was, logically, we did North Americans last year, and my prep last year for North Americans was perfect. I put on 15 pounds from the previous year, and I looked my best ever. And I was better conditioned, I was bigger, came in, and I tied for 5th, and I actually got 6th. If you don't make top 5, you don't even get to pose in the evening show. And considering the fact that I had family and all my friends come down for the show, it wasn't my backyard, it was in Pittsburgh, and nobody even got to see me pose. That really just kind of lit a fire under my ass. And then I remember after the show, I think I trained for probably 2 weeks straight without even taking a day off. It was just, I could probably, in all honesty, count on one hand, maybe 2 hands, the amount of days I took off from gym the past year. Long story short, that kind of, really fueled my fire to come back this year. And I always say that, people respond to adversity, respond to losing in 2 different ways. You can either let it beat you, knock you down, knock you back up, or you can use it to just fuel your fire to come back even better. And that's what I did. I had an awesome off season. An even better off season, I'd say. I ended up putting on 10 more pounds, and then I came in this year as a super heavyweight. My goal was to come in as a super heavyweight, be a solid super heavyweight. Technically at 232, it's not a big super heavyweight, but I don't really think weight matters.
Conditioning, man.
It is all conditioning, obviously. And, so we won the super heavyweight and then won the overall. Moving forward, me and Eddie have big plans for the off season, because I am going to take a nice off season and grow, because I have enormous respect for the pros, and I'm not stupid. I don't think that I could hop on any pro stage right now and compete. I need obviously one hell of another off season to put on another 10 to 15 pounds, and even 8 to 10 pounds, anything, just to get into the 240s and compete. I'm about 5'10", but so obviously the main goal is to stay relevant, so I had to find ways for people to continue to give a shit about me for the next 6, 8, 12 months, whatever it may be. So, me and Eddie are going to continue to make our videos. I want to document, the whole process of the off season and, everything that goes into it, because what really dictates, success in contest is your off season. Everybody thinks it's like the 8 to 12 to 16 weeks of prep, but that's not the case at all. It's your off season. how well you keep track of your body, how hard you train, stuff like that. You know, if your diet's meticulous and your diet's on point in the off season, flowing into your prep is seamless, and then you can just drop weight like that, like instantly, with no problem at all.
No, I was just going to ask you a question. Obviously, now that you're in a spotlight, even before you won nationals, people in this gym looked up to you, like everyone, realistically, that comes to Webb's. You know,
There ain't nobody like him training.
yeah. I mean, you're some kind of inspiration or motivation to someone, even if they don't say anything. Maybe you never talk to them. What is your message to them, and what do you want out of? What would you want for them? Because whether you like it or not, you're some kind of role model. Maybe an 18-year-old kid, maybe a 55-year-old overweight grown man, or some kind of woman that whatever. Like, now that you've done what you've done, you are very much a somebody. So what is your take-home message?
My take-home message is, you know, you can really, you know, it's very cliche to say this, but if there's anything in life you want, you can do it within reason, you know, logical reason, your goals. Believe me, if you would have told me at 18 years old or 23 years old, to be honest with you, 26 years old, maybe even 28 years old, that I'd be the NPC Nationals overall champion, I mean, I don't know if I would believe you, but the thing is like, what people don't realize is that somebody has to win it. Somebody has to be the president. Somebody has to be a millionaire or win the race or win the show. Like, and there's nothing that separates us all except our work ethic. And you know, it's just so cliche that like whoever wants something the most is going to get it. It's the person that's willing to do anything. You know, and I've seen a lot of articles lately about balance and about balance and, you know, desire and stuff like that. And there was a good one that says balance doesn't exist if you want to reach your goals. And I mean, it surely doesn't. I mean, that's the sad truth, is like, if you want to be the best person that's going to win is the person that's most obsessed. And, you know, that might not be what people want to hear, but I tell it straight, I'm a straight up person. Like, if you're in certain sports, you know, you never hear the champion giving his speech and saying, I won because I found balance along the way. No, they won because they sold their soul in the process, and they literally burned everything down to win. You know, and it's the mindset of winning at all costs, of, you know, that nothing is going to stop you. And, you know, it's not like, now granted, not everybody's competing, everybody has their daily struggles. I think that it's just important to remember, in honesty, to never to give up. You know, it's important to put your goals out. Like, it's just like I also had, whenever I was in college, I printed out a sign that said Mr. SOU. I hung it above my bed, and then I won the Mr. SOU. And then after I graduated college, I remember being at work, I printed out a sign that said Mr. Pittsburgh. Hung it above my bed, and then I became Mr. Pittsburgh. Then after that, it was Junior USA's. Did the same thing. And then whenever I was living with Adam, I mean, he can testify to the fact that I printed out a sign that said Pro Card, and it took 2 years, but now I won the Pro Card. So the next is ultimately coming up with the next goal, but you have to envision it. You have to, like, put it in front of you. It's just like, you know, I cut out the poster of Chris Bumstead in the muscular development whenever he was put in there last year after, right after North Americans, because I wanted to smother my face in it. I lost, I failed, and I wanted to wake up every day whenever I got on that stepper. I wanted to see his face in muscular development, and I wanted that to be my motivation of, like, look, you know, like, some people, you know, they live in a fairy tale world where they need to be, like, padded. Other people, you know, it's like a dog that pisses on a carpet. Like, they have to have their face dragged through the piss to realize that, you know, this isn't what you do. I like to revel in my failure. I like to use it as fuel. You know what I mean? It you know, losing to me is beneath me. I've always had this belief that, you know, I was the best, and that, like, you know, like how dare I not win, or, you know, stuff like that. And so, just like on the background of my phone, you know, I put different competitors. Like for this prep, I had Vincenzo. You know, quick shout out. You know, whoever sees, or that's a quick little fun secret. You know, because he was getting pumped to be like the ultimate super heavyweight. So every morning I woke up, I had him and I had a picture of my girlfriend, and I had win at all costs above it both, because that was my two greatest motivators, was her, and him. And then so every day I looked at that. I looked at that every single day, and then whenever I would do cardio every day, I'd see Bumsteed's face above my stepper, So some people think that that's extreme, some people think that's too much. So then going into this prep, it was about, I think it was about whenever I went out to see Mike for posing. And I went out to pose with Andy Bartulovich and Mike Eli, and we got out there, and I told him that my girlfriend was doing the West Virginia Mid-Atlantic show, and he said, well, we should hop in it too and do it as like I hate to use the phrase warm-up, because it's not, I don't believe in the phrase of warm-up, because you're going to win, but it essentially kind of is, because it's, it's kind of like knocking the cobwebs out, like, because it's been over a year since I competed, stage time, the whole process of just,
It's like a little touch-up.
It's a touch-up, yeah. And
before the main show.
Before the main show. And, he told me about it, and like, I'm never a fan, I'm actually personally never a fan of the idea of doing that. But he said that, like, we wouldn't dehydrate, or we wouldn't do any type of a prep week. We would just essentially just hop on stage, train normal, hop on stage that Saturday, because it was literally less than a week out from Miami. And so he's like, literally just wake up Saturday, we'll put tan on you and hop on stage. And so then I thought about it, and then I was good. And like, it sounds asinine, but the truth is like, anybody knows that at that point in time, if you're 7 days out, 6 days out from nationals, I mean, you should be able to do that. Your conditioning should be that on point that you could literally do that. And so that's what we did. The show was in West Virginia. It was an awesome show. I loved it. It was honestly probably one of my most favorite shows I've ever done.
It was my first show I ever went to.
Yeah, it was just such an awesome venue. Such very well run. Andy does a great job there. Good shameless plug to Andy Bartulovich. If anybody's looking for a show to do, I highly recommend it. It's a great regional show to do. But yeah, we went in and we won obviously the super heavies, and we won the overall there. And then that just felt, and looking back, that was such a great move, because it gave me such momentum.
Yep, and more confidence.
And more confidence, and it was just like, I kind of laid, as much stupid as it sounds, it's like I was under the radar, and then it was like, bam, I showed up a week out from nationals.
Crushed that,
I won the overall there, and then it was just like, next stop is Miami. And then it was just, we just literally floated, we had so much momentum, and it was just like, man, it just like created the perfect snowball effect in, going into Miami. So, I thank my coach Mike for that. That was a great move, and I'm happy we did it. Wrapping it all up, to talk about the goal from here, working with Eddie to come out, like really brand myself and brand the Bang Like a Champion. That's the catchphrase. Looking to start, my own clothing of Bang Like a Champion, and Team Didomenico, and really market, that whole process, and make some money from this sport finally, and really get my name out there. And we're going to continue with the YouTube channels.
D, what's the Bang Like a Champion? What's the meaning behind that?
It's a good question, Adam. Thank you. The Bang Like a Champion, that was originated by me and Adam. He's the guy behind the camera if you hear him, but. It was, that came to be like right before the NPC Pittsburgh, and it was the idea of like every workout, like this is it, this is the final countdown. Every workout you go 100%. It's not even about going 100% every workout. It's just about banging like a champion. Like, nobody can touch your work ethic. Nobody can touch what you do in the gym. Like,
doing everything that a champion does to win.
Yeah, and it's just like that's what I think separates me as a competitor. And really defies what I do, and my friends and my teammates. I always include them, and it's not out of arrogance or ego that I say these things. It's just out of confidence that, I know I'm the best. I know that I just have it in my mind that people, can contend on that level. And again, it's not arrogance. It's just confidence. I have enormous respect for everybody that I compete against with. But like I was talking to someone tonight, if you don't have that mindset that you're not going to out-train them, fellow competitors will actually respect that. It's usually the internet trolls that'll have something wrong with what I'm saying because they don't understand anything. But it's a respect thing. Anybody that's ever played sports, whatever it may be, you respect other athletes' mindsets. But to touch upon the bang like a champion, it's the doing things in the gym that people can't do. It's doing them day in and day out. It's not about like training hard for the last 6 weeks of prep. It's training hard 2 weeks post prep, 6 weeks post prep, 12 weeks post prep. It's about
it's actually being a fucking champion.
A true champion.
Yeah.
It's about representing more. I like to think of it as like a pristine representation of being something more, representing more in the gym, in the fitness world, or in the athletic world. But overall, it's going to be an exciting few months. Within a couple, I'm sure within a few weeks, I'm going out to see my coach in about 2 more weeks, and we're going to talk more about an ultimate game plan before we go into the off season about like which first pro show I'll do. So as the weeks build up, we'll continue to get more of a specific plan. But we're going to keep the training videos coming. I'm excited to be with Eddie and the 2 Adams behind the camera right now that you can't see.
Appreciate it, man.
That are here for spiritual.